Good evening, parents and guardians, and thank you for taking the time to join us tonight for a very different information evening. We would have loved to have been doing this in person, but we hope that you get as much valuable information out of this presentation as has always been the case. Firstly, on my own behalf, I would like to thank you all for your support over the last year or so. This year is like no other, and your sons and daughters have become the most resilient, independent and mature young men and women, and they continue to surprise and astound me every day on how they have adapted to their new normal. It has been very difficult for us all, but your continued support has meant that we can keep the class of 2021 on the continued road to success. In order for this to continue, we need to ensure your son or daughter maintains their focus right up until the end of 6th year, that they continue to give 100% in all that they do, and that they take the responsibility for their own learning inside and outside of the classroom. What we need you to do is to encourage your child to come to school on time every day. Any appointments that are needed are arranged outside of school time. Inform us if you know in advance of planned absences. Contact the school on the morning of an absence and a letter of explanation in the dealing. If there is a COVID-related absence, if your son or daughter is going to be absent for an extended period of time, please call or email me with this information, which will all be kept confidential. Work will be posted on Schoology or on Microsoft Teams on a daily basis from the teachers for your sons or daughters to catch up on any work that they might have missed, and it will enable them to keep on top of their studies. We have numerous support channels available to your sons and daughters in the guise of their class teachers, their Cuaimhnárí, our pastoral team and guidance counsellors, myself, their Moltóir, and most importantly, yourselves. And we are all down the end of an email or a phone line if you ever need to speak to any of us about any concerns or issues you may have. Again, thank you for taking the time to join us this evening, and we are looking forward to the year ahead and helping the class of 2021 reach their full potential. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gráinne Riley. I'm the guidance counsellor at Metho College, and I'm one of 3 guidance counsellors. We also have Debbie Hogan and Miss Grogan. And this is an information session for 6th-year parents, really about preparing your son and daughter for next year and the different junctures that are ahead. So on the agenda this evening is looking at preparing them for college, looking at things like how to do good quality research, looking at the National Framework of Qualifications. That's really important that students understand. Looking at the Leaving Cert system, how points are calculated. Looking at the Central Applications Office application, which is going to be open and live this week. Also looking at other routes such as PLC courses, which are a vital backup for students. Also then we're going to look at the DARE system, Disability Access Route to Education. And we also have another access route called the HEAR programme, which is very important. And then we're going to have a brief look at the SUSI grant system, and then just to follow up, showing you extra support that is available. So getting started, it's really important that students and parents understand the value and importance of research. So we're really fortunate in the college that majority of students would do careers guidance class for 3 years if students did 2Y, 2 years if they're just did 5th and 6th year. So that is a weekly class that follows the Careers Portal Reach programme and Classroom Guidance. So 2 really excellent resources. We followed both of those curriculum, and it really covers everything that a young person would need to know about making the next step on their journey. So the Guidance class is a really important time for students. It's a time that they interact with us with their particular personal questions that are pertinent to them. They can make appointments during that class. We cover all the topics that are relevant for students to know about moving forward. So it really is a key time every week that students have class. As I said, we cover the Reach Plus program, so all students have a workbook and an online program that they can record their research. We do things like study skills. We do looking at preparing for the CAO, preparing for PLCs, looking at the UK system. Looking at goal setting is a really big part of it, looking at their study behaviour and how to improve it. So there's a huge amount of information that's being passed to students in their weekly guidance class. Again, I would ask you to ask your son and daughter to see their online profile and their workbook, because it's got a lot of information in that. The next important piece of research and that we as guidance counsellors would use very frequently is Qualifax. So Qualifax is the national database for all third level courses in Ireland. It details everything about the course, the level that it's at, where it's offered, the subjects that are covered each year, progression then for postgraduate courses, and the points for the previous 3 years. So Qualifax for parents, for students, is really an invaluable tool. And by the time students are in 6th year, they are very familiar and comfortable with using Qualifax. So that's really important. All 6th years, the next one there, CAO.ie. All 6th years received their CAO handbook a number of weeks ago, and time was spent in guidance class going through the book in quite a lot of detail. The initial part of the book, the white pages, goes through the rules and regulations about how CAO operates. The yellow pages then details the level 6, 7 and 8 courses that are available in Ireland. So again, you'd be asking your son and daughter to see the CAO handbook. For parents, there's also a PDF on the CAO website where you can download that book. But also getting really comfortable with the CAO website itself. We took students through the demo version of how to set up a CAO account in careers class, and again parents can have a look at that, which is very useful as well. Also all the courses are listed there and they link them directly to the college website, so I'd be saying that is a really key resource. Careers portal then is the next one, brilliant again for parents looking at careers. How did a person get into that career? What journey did they take? What education did they undertake? So Careers Portal is excellent, and students have a part of the Careers Portal is called the Reach account, where they have an in-depth account. They have interest tests that they've done, personality tests, study skills questionnaires, whole profile individual to themselves in their Reach account. So again, that is another really valuable resource. They also have a CAO wizard in the Careers Portal website that's excellent. Another reason why Careers Portal is really good, and Qualifax, you can search for college events. So all the colleges are holding virtual open days this year because of COVID, and they would all be listed on Careers Portal and on Qualifax under career events. So again, we would get students really used to using Careers Portal and Qualifax. Next, you'll see there the higher options. So the higher options this year is going to be virtual. So students will be able to log on to higheroptions.ie and register and be able to do virtual tours of the universities and HEIs. So we will be promoting that and encouraging students to sign up for that. That will be €10. So if you want to have a look at that yourself, it will go live from the 4th and 5th of November. So it's a chance to have a virtual event, enable you to collect information. There's a full list of exhibitors on their website. So again, another key piece of research for students and for parents. And that is €10 per student. Obviously then, getting in touch with admissions officers is really important. If you've got a particular specific question, that would be really important. On the inside of the CAO handbook, it has the admissions officers' contact details for every college. So their direct email and their phone number. So again, that's a resource that we would use quite regularly to supplement information for students. And then obviously ourselves, the team, the guidance team, we're always encouraging students to ask us questions in class. The students have one-to-one appointments which have started since September. That's where students go through on an individual basis with their own guidance counsellor, their own plan, and it's a chance for them to ask us questions and make sure that they're on the right path. So, and again, we would engage with parents if they email us or they have a query. There's absolutely no problem with that. So that's really looking at the research side of things. Then just getting started. So it's good to start with the National Framework of Qualifications because this is where it all starts. So currently students would have been awarded their junior cert from the SEC, that's in blue. So students are ultimately trying to progress up the National Framework of Qualifications. They finish with a level 5, which is a leaving certificate. Then they're trying to progress through CAO, level 6, 7 and 8. If they do a PLC, they would stay at level 5 and then progress up the following year. So the highest level that a student could go to from their leaving cert would be a level 8, which is your honours degree, usually 3 to 4 years. The next level then would be a level 7, which usually around 3 years. And then if it was a higher certificate, 2 years in length. And you can see the different colours where these are available from. So ultimately, we want students to understand these levels, the level 6, 7, 8, and they are accessed through the CAO. Level 5 is accessed through FETAC PLC, and that would be directly to the college. So the Leaving Cert system in Ireland, just to make sure that we're all very clear, students count their best 6 subjects, okay, and that is done on their behalf by the CAO. So depending on the level that they take, either ordinary or higher, they get a different points allocated to them. And then just to highlight that once a student does higher level maths, they are awarded 25 extra points. Just to be clear, the 25 extra points don't kick in until a student reaches a H6. So that would just be something important to highlight. That's all in the dealing that the students have, and it's something that we refer back to quite often, especially with mini mocks and mocks. And it's really important, we started in 5th year as well, that students are really clear about their targets and where they're at, and that they have a somewhat of an idea about where they are in relation to their subjects and the grades that they're potentially going to get, because it really does give good information for laying out their CAO and doing it in kind of a strategic way. So we would do a lot of goal setting 5th and 6th year, especially with the mini mocks gives a really good indicator, and then the mocks gives another indicator. So it kind of reassures students then with their CAO that they're on the right path. So then we're moving on to the CAO. The CAO opens on the 5th of November. This opens for registration. In Ratho College, traditionally, we've always had our own Ratho College deadline, which would be the last day in November. It's very, very straightforward to register. We do a demonstration in class, and students all do a simulated version of it in class. It's really only contact details, personal information, debit, credit card to pay for the fee. Well, there's a few reasons why we get them to do it so early. first of all, that they get the reduced fee of €30, and also that we have the volume of students that we have, that nobody falls through the cracks, so that we make sure that everyone has a CIO set up, they have their courses in, and they're well researched by the 1st of February, to make sure that no student has a restricted course that they haven't put in as well, which is really important. Restricted courses can't be put down in the change of mind that comes around in May, because there's an additional assessment. So we really feel that having an early registration for students means that they're a lot more focused, and there's a lot less stress if they have it all done by Christmas. They've got clear goals in their head, they have their 20 courses down, and they feel a lot more confident about going into their mocks. So that's why we ask students to have their registration done by the end of November. So really important. Students every year ask me, why do I have to put down so many? Can I not just put down one course? We'd always recommend students, it's the same fee for how many courses you put down. There's 1,600 courses available on the CIO. So we would urge and encourage students to put as many level 8s and level 6 and 7s down on their courses. The way it works is that it's order of preference. So you put the course you want the most first, and then in descending order. And that's on both lists. So potentially a student could get 2 offers, one from their level 8s, one from their level 6 and 7s. That's the potential. And then they have the choice about what they want to choose. Once the student qualifies for a course, everything else below that disappears. Okay, so that's why order of preference is really, really important. You're not trying to say, right, I'm going to get this amount of points, this is what this course is going to be. You do it in the order that you want a particular course. That's really important. Restricted courses then need to be down by the 1st of February. That's really important. So courses like medicine, which have a HPAT, drama courses, art courses that have portfolios attached to them, they are really, really important to have down, because assessment happens from February to March, or February to May, pardon me. So the CIO shuts then on February 1st, and then change of mind opens up on the 5th of May free of charge until the 1st of July. So really, really important that students have their research done by the 1st of February. Everything is in that they want to have in, then they get a break from the CIO, and then they move on to the 5th of May. They can put in changes, change the order, or put in new courses, and until 5:15 on the 1st of July. Okay, so then within your CIO account, you tick if you want to be considered for DARE and HERE, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Then obviously you have a timetable of events on the inside page of the CIO handbook, and this is really, really useful for students and parents. I always tell students to put it up on their wall or put it on the fridge. Again, that's available on the website, and it goes through a calendar of events in relation to CIO, when results are out in mid-August, when the round 1 offers come out, and then registrations. In reference to deferrals, the rules outlining deferrals is in the CIO handbook again. So that would be really important for students to look at if it's relevant for them. You do not accept the course, you get in touch with the HEI straight away and put it in writing that you wish to defer the course until the following year. Then you must set up a CIO the following year and apply for just that course to make sure that you've secured it. Then we move on. So it really is important. The CIO is really the student's responsibility, and the school really has nothing to do with their account. We don't look at their account, we don't change anything in their account, we don't have their password or their login details. So it's really important that students take ownership of this and set it up with their own email address. I would recommend in May of next year, they will get a statement of record. That is a really important document that needs to be checked and made sure that everything is correct on it. Making sure that everything is in genuine order of preference is really important. Ticking if there and here is relevant to them on their CAO form. There's also a function that allows you to tick if you're got an Irish exemption, and there's further paperwork that has to be sent to the NUI. And always, sometimes students will get the points for a course but don't actually get the course, and that's because they haven't met the minimum entry requirements for the course. So checking the subjects that are required, the levels that are required, and the grade that is required would be really, really important. So the minimum entry requirements. So we always encourage students to have a CAO if that's what they want to do, but also to have another backup in the shape of a PLC. So PLC would be at a level 5 or level 6. It would be 1 year for level 5, 2 years for level 6. The entry requirements would be 5 passes in their leaving certificate and an interview. Some colleges like Dunboyne ask for a personal statement and a reference from a teacher as well. So we would outline all of this in the guidance class, and we would prepare students for the interview and prepare them for writing the essay. So why do I want this course, basically, is the crux of it. So why would you do a PLC? So if you didn't get the points requirements for your level 6, 7 or 8, if let's say you didn't do TY and you feel like you're still a bit young to go on to 3rd level and you're still a bit unsure, doing a PLC can be excellent way of indicating where your skills lie, where your interests lie. You get that little bit older, you can conduct more research throughout the year, and you can make sure that you're picking the right option for you. There is a function on the CAO website under student resources that shows if a 3rd level course has a pathway with a PLC. So we would show students that in class as well. So that would be important, that you would have the right modules and that you're doing the right PLC. But a lot of 3rd level courses take a variety of different PLC courses. So there's still lots of options available to students. It's different. Sometimes students get confused and think that the CAO is the same as the PLC. It's not. They're completely different systems. So you apply directly to the PLC college on their website using your PPS number. It's very, very straightforward, and the college will email you back requesting an interview. So they, like Dunboyne has opened from November 2nd. Some of them, they all have different opening dates. So kind of December, January, they would open and then have their interviews January, February, March. There's still an opportunity to apply for a PLC after your leaving cert, but we would always encourage students to have it as in their back pocket, that they're not looking for teacher references, looking how to do the essay, looking how to register in September when they've left here. It's much easier to do it in class. And it's a great experience for students to do an interview for a PLC college. I think it really adds value to their whole experience. So that's PLCs. We in 5th year, the current 6th years would have had talks from all the PLC colleges last year. With COVID, we've had Dunboyne College in already for Dunboyne, or we've had for Wrong McCabe. So we just don't know how the rest of the year is going to go, but what I would imagine that we'd have them in to talk to students at some stage. So next is DARE. DARE is Disability Access Route to Education, and this enables school leavers who have had a negative, have a disability and that has had a negative impact on their education to have that kind of leveled up. So to be eligible, you must show that you have a disability, so there must be a report from a specialist to confirm this. It could be physical, mental health. It could be a specific learning difficulty, which the majority of our students would be in that bracket. It does enable students to get into courses on reduced points, but again, it is in supply and demand, and they are just in a different cohort. They're still in competition with whoever's in that DARE cohort. So I would recommend, if students, or we go through DARE in class in quite a lot of detail, and we go through it with students individually, I would recommend parents to look on accesscollege.ie. There's 3 sections in DARE. A and C is for students and parents, and the B section is for the guidance counsellor. Majority of it is done in their CIO account online, but we would guide students as to how to carry that out. Making sure that students have reports. We don't send any of the supplementary information. That would be up to parents to send all copies of reports, but it's clearly outlined in the application form that we give to parents. So apprenticeships.ie would have information on becoming an apprenticeship, also about current vacancies, which would be very important, that are available. So contacting the local ETB as well. Every year we would have Louth Education Training Board would come in and talk to 6th years specifically about apprenticeships, and hopefully we'll do something even with COVID restrictions this year. So then it's looking at finding an employer. I know irishjobs.ie, jobs.ie as well would have advertisements for apprenticeships there. And then it's either making an online application depending on the company, or sending in your cover letter and curriculum vitae, which we would always help students with as well in the one-to-one appointments. So a lot of interest in apprenticeships, and it is something that we encourage and are very open to pushing students towards. Then looking at here, which is linked back to the CAO, this is Higher Education Access Route, and this is another scheme that is applied for in the CAO account, and it offers support and reduced points to students who come from socioeconomically disadvantaged backgrounds. So the eligibility looks at the family income, if there's a medical card, if the parents are in receipt of social welfare, and the socio-economic group that they belong to. You do get reduced points if you're deemed eligible, but again, it is supply and demand, and you're in a HERE cohort that you're in competition with. So I would, again, if you feel that this is something that's applicable to you, to look at accesscollege.ie, and there's a lot of support on the CIO website in completing the application form. Then we have the Susie grant. So this again is completely done online, usually opens in April of 6th year. So again, we would take students through the Susie grant in class. For parents, the first step is looking to see if you're going to be eligible. So susie.ie, and there's an eligibility reckoner where you can put in your personal details and see it generates a response to see if you're eligible for it. So that would be completely done by parents. So susie.ie is where you get more information. Studentfinance.ie is another website that you can get more information on that. So just in finishing up, as we have such a big cohort, we've divided up the classes. So I am taking Wrong McCabe, Wrong Farrell, Wrong Burns, and Wrong Freeman. So if you have a query and your child is in one of those classes, you can contact me. Miss Hogan is in charge of Wrong Grogan, Wrong Jackson, Wrong Tracy. So you can contact her on dhogan.rth, and then Miss Grogan is in charge of Wrong Lee Byrne. So really wishing the class of 2021 the absolute best. We are here for lots of other assistance for students, looking at their well-being and making sure that they're doing well, and especially in these times they do need extra support, and we always, but particularly this year, we always do prioritise sixth years from a wellbeing point of view, from a guidance point of view, helping them with study skills, helping them look at levels, looking at targeting with their mini mocks and their mocks. So it really is important for you to get in touch with us if you feel like your son or daughter needs some guidance, needs some assistance, or if they're struggling in any way. And best of luck with everything that this year has ahead for us. Thank you.